Okay, so what I'm going to show you in this video is how to lay out to make your pieces, your two 5-inch pieces, to look like this. So here it is in a cut piece. So we set that on there and it fits our outline. So we can see that we're going to come up an inch, put a mark, make it square, come in an inch. So this part right here should be an inch wide, according to this. So if your piece is a little bit wider than 2 inches, we're going to make this part an inch and cut off more if we need. Then we come up a 1/2 inch. We're going to make a 45-degree angle in, and then we're going to measure up a 1/2 plus an inch, so an 1.5 inches to get here, and measure back 45-degree angle, and that will create that notch there. So here's our instructions, which you have on your slides. So let's go ahead and lay this out. The first thing I want to do is mark. I'm just going to mark a dot here and a dot here. Those two dots are going to be the points, our center points. So I'm going to get my tape measure and I'm going to measure up. We're going to start by measuring up our inch. So I'm going to hook my tape on, get my crow's foot, pull back one, pull back the other. So there's my inch mark. We can do the same here. Go into, zoom in there, here's our inch, crow's foot back, crow's foot back. So now what we want to do is measure in our inch here. So what I actually want is I want this piece to be an inch, the center piece. So I'm going to measure in from the dot an inch and in from the dot an inch. And I'm actually going to put 2-inch marks, two 1-inch marks, one down here. So I'm hooking my tape where the dot is, making a crow's foot, 1 inch there, and then I'm going to go to the top here and make another. So there's my 2. So this portion is going to be an inch. Now I'm going to turn my piece because I want my tab to click onto that dot there. So I'm going to do an inch, crow's foot, and then come up here, do another inch, crow's foot. Okay, so now we have this completed and this completed, but I'm just going to use my speed square so we don't get confused and do that really quickly. So I'm going to hook my lip of my square onto the edge, and then I'm going to slide it right through my crow's foot here. Then I'm going to take my square and I'm going to set the lip on the face right at my square mark, and I'm going to transfer that line to the edge. Now I'm going to go here, put it tight. Now this is where you have to be really careful because it can easily move on you. So because the lip of our square is only connecting to a small piece of material here, even a slight change makes a big difference in the angle on that face. So I'm actually going to go right through that, both crow's foots. The reason I did 2 crow's foots is now I can ensure that I'm making a straight line that's parallel to our edge. So now I'm going to go here. And I'm going to put, this was the center, so I'm going to put the X on this side because we're going to be removing this side here. I'm keeping the side that's on the dot. Now this measurement looks a little bit wrong, but it's not. This line doesn't look parallel, but I think it's because of the grain. Now I'm going to do the same here. Hook it on the dotted side. Here. Now I'm going to bring my square, make it square, and bring that angle over there. Now I'm going to put it on the end, make sure it's tight and it is going through both of my crow's foots. line here on the top, so I know where to cut the top part. Transferring that to the top. Okay. Now I'm putting, again, the X on the opposite side of my dot. This is the part I want to get rid of. Okay? So now the dots connect, and we're getting rid of these two parts. We have our 1 inch up and our 1 inch in, and we have this part here that's going to be kept. Now what we're going to do is turn these on their edge, and we're going to measure this detail here. So I'm going to put this on its edge, and I'm going to make this mark on the edge. So I'm going to come up our 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to make another mark at an inch plus a half, which is 1.5 inches. So here's my crow's foot here. Let me zoom in. Getting some. So here's our 1/2 inch. And then here's our 1.5 inches. For my other crow's foot. Okay, now on the other dotted, there's my dot. Zoom out here a little bit. Okay, on that dot, I'm going to put my 1/2 inch crow's foot. Now my 1.5 inches. So now I have those two marks on the edges. Now I need to make the 45-degree angle in for that notch. So here's how we do that. To this point, we've used the 90-degree portion of our square. So this is a 90-degree angle. So we always made our lip tight, and then we drew down this face. What we're going to do now is make the lip tight, but then draw down this angle, which is 45 degrees. So we're going to put the lip tight on, again, the dotted side, and I'm going to line up my square so that the end of it goes right to the 1.5 inch line there, crow's foot, and I'm going to draw down that face. So there's my 45. Now I'm going to, it was like this, now I'm just going to flip it over. It's a little confusing, I know. Now take the lip and hook it on again to the dotted edge. Make it tight, and now you're going to slide it right to that crow's foot and draw your line to where it meets down in the middle. So to double check, the line should cross at your inch line that you drew here, and it should be about a 1/2 inch down from the edge. So let's try that again. Locate our dot. Here's our dot. Put the lip of our square on the dot. Now I'm going to squeeze that. Going to slide it so that the square is right between our crow's foot. Make sure it's tight. Draw my line down the 45 degree. Roll it over. Put it on our dotted side. Line it up to in between our crow's foot there. And now I'm going to pull it down. And there is our notch. So I'm going to put an X here. The last thing I want to do is actually just put a square line through these. There's 1, 2. I'm going to do one here. And now we're ready to cut.